kids, welcome to the fort. I was thinking that I am waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for it to be safe for us to go back to school again. I miss you all so much. And it's also the same year that 75 years after World War II was over. And a lot of people during World War II had to wait and wait and wait. And a lot of those people were kids. And they were waiting for their parents or their families or their loved ones to do something really hard. And I think a lot of you right now are also waiting. So in this story, there's a lot of waiting. And I wanted to read it to you. It's called Coming On Home Soon. And Jacqueline Woodson wrote the story, and E.B. Lewis painted the pictures. And they're gorgeous pictures. I'm going to try and show you clearly. So this isn't a true story. It's realistic fiction, which means it could have happened, but it didn't. And it is called Coming On Home Soon. And there is a cat. Mama's hands are warm and soft. When she puts her Sunday dress into the satchel, I held my breath, tried hard not to cry. Ada Ruth, she said. They're hiring colored women in Chicago since all the men are off fighting in the war. Mama folded another dress and put it in the bag. I'm going to head on up there. Then she pulled me up close to her, pressed her face against mine. Make some money I can send on home to you. Outside, a pretty rain fell, making the brown fields shine. Ada Ruth, Mama said, do you know I love you more than anything in the world? Yes, ma'am, I whispered. More than rain, more than snow. Mama whispered back the way we'd done 100 times before, or maybe 100,000. Grandma holds me when I cry. Hush now, she says. It's gonna be all right. Hush now, she says. Your mama's gonna be coming on home soon. But Mama's been gone a long time, with no letter or money from her coming. Keep writing to her, Grandma says. So I do. Because, it's 1945. Some people didn't even have telephones then. So there's no texting. But there is a kitten. There is snow this morning, and a small black kitten scratching at our door. There is milk this morning, warm from the cows. Grandma says, you know we can't keep it. Then pours milk in the saucer and sets it down on the floor. There is a war going on. Some days, there's not much food to speak of. Cornbread and clabber milk for morning meal and supper. You know we can't keep it, Grandma says again. The kitten drinks the milk up, rubs against my leg like it wants some more. And Grandma says, don't go getting attached now, Ada Ruth. They keep the kitten. It's a slip of a thing, but its softness is big, and as warm as 10 quilts on my lap, warm as Mama's hands, I rub the kitten's back. More than snow, Mama said. I love you more than snow. I watch the snow come down fast, like sugar some days. I try hard to remember the way my Mama smelled. Some days like the sun. Some days like the lye soap that turned her hands yellow but got the wash real clean. I blink hard, but the tears still try to come. There she is. This picture makes me think of Lots of you guys lying on the floor with Eddie or Peanut or one of the guinea pigs. It's so good to have a pet or a therapy pet. Time passes. When the post worker goes on by without stopping, Grandma says, "Hush now, don't start crying." But her eyes are sad too, like she's wanting to cry too. "In Chicago," Mama said, "I can wash the railroad cars. Just imagine Ada Ruth, a colored woman, working on the railroad." You see her? Do you see how strong she looks? We don't know if she got that job. I hope she did. At night, me and Grandma listen to the radio and hear all about the battles being fought and all the men who've died. I listen with my eyes closed, pray for all those men who won't be coming on home soon. Outside, the snow keeps falling, and the war goes on and on. And they're listening to the radio because it's before the internet, right? It's before Twitter. So when they wanted information, they needed to turn on the radio. When Grandma turns the radio off, I rub my hand along the kitten's back. See, they still have the kitten. And I think about the women working on the trains. Just think, with my mama right there beside them. She's so proud. Ice storm came last night, Grandma says, as she hunts possum and rabbit. If Grandma catches one, there'll be some meat for a stew. A little bit of me hopes we find one, and a little bit of me hopes we don't. Me and Grandma keep walking, and that kitten walking along behind us, shivering, until Grandma stoops and lifts it into her coat. "Don't you know about cold snaps?" she asks, "how some they come on fast and sometimes stay. The land goes on and on, flat sometimes, and then climbing up into a hill. Told you they'd keep the kitten." Grandma says it all leads way out into the big wide world. One day, I'm going to set off to see it all. Maybe I'll go by railroad. When we get home, Grandma starts the wood stove going. Our wet clothes steaming on top of it. Hot cocoa, too, and 2 biscuits from last night's supper. The postal worker's making his way up the road. See, kids always like hot cocoa. Unless they're allergic to cocoa, and then something else. Look at that. Yes. "Thank you, Lord," Grandma whispers, when he puts the letter with Mama's beautiful cursive in her hand. Money falling from it when Grandma steams it open. And the first line, "Tell Ada Ruth I'll be coming on home soon." Like a song you want to sing over and over. Look at them. They're so happy. The small black kitten beside us, as we read the letter again and again. "I think she's taken a mind to stay," I say. "Well, she needs to take a mind to go," Grandma says. But she puts a blanket down beside the fire and whispers, "Quiet and halfway pretty when you look at her in the right way." Inside, it's warm and quiet. Stew cooking on the stove. Outside, snow falls and falls. And somewhere, there's my mama, loving me more than rain, loving me more than snow, cleaning trains, and coming on home soon. And there she is. Here's Mama coming home. So I like that book because there's a cat and a kid and someone who loves the kid very, very, very much. And everybody's family looks different, but all of you have someone who loves you very, very much. And we miss you at school, and we love you very, very much. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.